I believe that diversity, equality and inclusion is trying to do to white people what the Third Reich did to Jews. I think a lot of native Europeans agreed to policies that positively discriminated in favor of brown, black, other ethnic minorities, because deep down inside, I think a lot of native Europeans feel that kind of brotherly tolerance, sharing, wanting to help people. But it's been taken advantage of. And one of the most dangerous aspects of identity politics, and people, before they have an opinion, they say, oh, as a black gay lesbian, or as a Native American, I feel this, or as a Sunni Muslim, Mr. Murray, I feel your book is very insulting. A big danger, a big aspect of this is that white people, native Europeans, didn't really have any deep, strong, mission-based identities outside of football or their personal hobbies, their interests. But then all of a sudden, the landscape of the country changes completely, and all the political leaders, even committed lefty Keir Starmer, is talking hollow words about deportation, cutting immigration, and they have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan to lower it by 5%, 10%, 15%. It's all too little too late. The gates were open, the hordes entered, they became incredibly racist against the native white population, and now, unless yesterday, we start implementing mass deportations, the problem is going to get worse. Even if reform gets in and they cut net migration by 50%, even if Labour manages to cut net migration by 10%, there are a lot of people who hate this country already here. And because they get free money from the government, free housing, free money for food, free money to go find a job, which they never will, and then they get free money for having health care problems. I thought it was a joke when someone sent this to me. The Home Office or State Department will even give you free money for every extra wife you bring from a Muslim country. I thought, nah, surely not. But no, there's an extra wife fund, up to 4 wives. Exhibit A, I guess, would be Yugoslavia in the 90s. Ethnically diverse. Well, no, hold on, let's rewind slightly. Religiously diverse. Ethnically not so diverse, and they still had an incredibly destructive war which killed hundreds of thousands of people. Now, look at other European nations, very ethnically diverse, very religiously diverse. Yeah, it's going to be fine. We promise it's not going to turn into Yugoslavia. Where's my son at? Hey, son. So yesterday, the night before yesterday, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, the political leader of UK PLC, the management team, we all know it's big business and the war party that truly runs things behind the scenes. They would never let any lefty, not even any righty, have true power over this country. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. Depends on your views of the permanent government. But I think in these ancient European countries, probably in America as well, in fact, any civilized country, the permanent government is big money forces. So getting back on track, away from the tangent of who runs the country, the Prime Minister had 3 of his private residences firebombed, and a 21-year-old has been arrested already. Scant details other than he is a 21-year-old young man, but here's my money. I think it's much more likely to be Antifa, the people that call themselves anti-fascists whilst being fascists, or pro-Palestinians who are tacitly pro-Hamas. These are the groups I think we're looking at. And my circumstantial evidence that I use for this assessment is that I see a lot of anti-Labour rhetoric, very aggressive anti-Labour rhetoric at the pro-Hamas marches. They accuse Sir, he's been knighted, you know, he's got the sword on it. He's Sir Keir Starmer is accused of not being commie enough. And I think all the commies, having had a circle jerk, a masturbatory session over the soggy biscuit, excited that they had a communist, a lefty in charge, and then the sudden hangover after the party when you realize it's the big business and war party that runs the country, and Keir Starmer is just a managerial position. The Prime Minister is just a kind of daily management position. You don't run the show. Sorry, you don't control the show, you run the show on a daily basis. And so I think commies will see alleged commies doing right-wing things, like, for example, Keir Starmer yesterday with his hollow rhetoric about cutting migration. I think that's upset a lot of the pro-Hamas Antifa let's wreck the country crowd. In other strange developments, Donald Trump's team in the White House spoke directly with Hamas spokespeople. Not sure how we feel about that, but it was successful. The art of the deal by Donald Trump, who knows what he said to the Hamas ghouls, the scumbags, the baby stranglers. But he must have said something quite powerful, because within 24 hours they'd released a American-Israeli hostage who was taken when he was a teenager, 19, now he's 21, and he appears to be unharmed. He's obviously psychologically, I can imagine it's going to take many years to try and overcome that trauma that he suffered. But I've got a guess as to what Donald Trump said to Hamas. He probably said something along the lines of, you know, you have a fight with Israel and you guys are fighting. I promise you, the last thing you want is for American Special Forces to join in the team. We will kill every last one of you unless you start releasing the hostages. We've got pretty good intelligence as to where the hostages are. It's at the stage now where we will commit large-scale military operations, even with a high chance of the hostage being killed, because every extra day is a day of extreme torture. So I think Trump would have said, you fucked around long enough, you're about to find out, give the hostage back. And so they did. Now it's maybe time for the Israelis to even step up the aggression and the pressure even more, because there are still 20 alive hostages out of the 58 which they still have. And some may say it's an impossible situation, but things become a bit less impossible when you have the firepower to annihilate literal death cult, death worshipping Satanists. For too long, I'm not going to speak too much about the other European nations or Canada or America, but I do know about Great Britain here, and the statistics are alarming. I'm not going to go through them. You can look them up as well. It takes 2 minutes and it goes in 1 year out the other. But the conditions, the comfort of this country for people who arrive illegally, the comfort is extreme. They get treated like rock stars. Like they get treated as if these are hostages that Britain has finally gotten back. Give them a free house, give them free money. I saw a Sky News report. I'd seen it a few months ago, but it's doing the rounds again. There was what appears to be an Arab North African lady wearing Adidas designer goods. She's been put up with her children in a container, and it's a neat container full of furniture and heating. And she's saying that the conditions are, you know, unbearable, that she says that she's being treated like an animal. And I'm there watching it, getting angrier and angrier that a family, nothing to do with Britain, nothing to do with us, been given free accommodation, free beds, free heating, free furniture. And the comments under the video said that they estimate that because of where she is in the southeast of England and she has 5 children, she's receiving close to 5,000 British pounds a month. That's about $7,000 for free. And that's per month, per every 30 days, $7,000. Here you go. Complain about Britain and how shit it is even more. Oh, is that 4-star hotel not good enough for you? Oh, okay, just why don't you just plan a terror attack like those Iranian scum who were on benefits, on welfare, receiving free government money, and they were planning a major terror attack against Jewish interests in London. Hooray for freedom. I'm getting a bit more psychological now. I believe, and I think the evidence is there for everyone to see, that when people with psychological problems are not just rewarded, but financially rewarded by a lot of free money that they did not earn, they did not contribute to, and with that money they're not contributing to the economy, to the culture, to the glory of Great Britain. And we're allowed to say that Great Britain is a glorious country. I mean, look at it. Look at it. Look at the buttercups behind me. That's not rapeseed. That's buttercups. And so my psychological theory, which it's obvious that when you give undeserving people free assets, capital that they don't deserve, their brains warp and they become entitled. They become a little bit demonic and angry, and they start refusing to work, because why would any mammal, any primate, as I am, any fellow Homo sapien, not even caring about your archaic hominid admixture. Don't even care about that. I truly believe every single human being on earth has an ability to be good, to feel love, to feel kindness, to feel, not even going to get religious here, but to feel something a bit special behind the scenes, behind the 3D physical world. But the same people, all of us, you give them a free house, their egos will start to tell them that they are the natural replacement for all the scum here in Britain. And it doesn't help that an official UN report on migration has called itself replacement migration. And let's get really deep here now. You look at the statistics, you might go, oh, Charlie, why are you so upset? This country is 6.5% Muslim, it's 3% black, that's less than 10%, Charlie. Yes, but a lot of the white people in Britain are very elderly. They're not producing children, they're not economically active. And when you give people unlimited free resources, do you know what they do? They have lots of children, because our Darwinian evolutionary selective pressures have rewarded, sorry to use the word again, those who go forth and multiply heavily. And when British native people can only have 1 or 2 children, because my God, have you seen the costs of a 3-bedroom house? Have you seen the costs of a 4 or 5-bedroom house? And so most people can only afford to have 1 or 2 kids. Have you seen the size of a car in Great Britain, the little hatchbacks we drive around in, the little micro cars? You can't fit many kids in that. Food's expensive, nursery's expensive if the wife has to work. Yet, then you've got people who arrived yesterday illegally, don't have to pay for food, house, anything, have 10 kids, have 15 children. Many parts of Britain have areas where under 18s of foreigners who may not even like this country, who may not even be Christian or even believe in Great Britain or the project of Great Britain, are more than 50% of the young people around. Some places it's even more than that. And talking politically as well, places like Burnley, Blackburn, Bolton, Leicester, places electing Islamist MPs who then go on Twitter and say stupid shit, like the MP for Blackburn, who, I quote Adnan, he says, Rupert Lowe believes that freedom of speech is the right to offend Muslims. Yes, Adnan, that's exactly what it is. That's why it's such a powerful tool that civilized Western people enjoy, because we have the right to offend each other. We have the right to say difficult things with our mouths. We have the right to think difficult things with our minds. And if it offends people who are part of an ideology, something written in a book, which then other people read in a book, went to the local mosque or whatever and learnt about, we can criticize it. Anything that isn't an inherent trait, and even some inherent traits, I think you should be allowed to criticize. But if you're fat, tough shit. You're a fatty. Lose weight. If you're following a death cult ideology, tough shit. We've got the right to offend you. And I'm not saying Islam is a death cult ideology. I'm saying a lot of angry young men in the West will find the more aggressive aspects, the more aggressive, violent verses of Islam, and they will promote that because they are desperate for an identity. And rather than looking at the British history and British Empire and going, wow, this is powerful, I'm going to be a British Muslim, the reason they don't is because they go to faith schools, they go to state schools, and they're taught by fat, chubby they-thems who are lefty, who hate the country, who hate success, who hate white people. And next thing you know, like we saw in 2005, you get 4 British Muslims from Luton who decide in their kitchens and basements to create large explosives to then go and murder 52 innocent people on the London Underground and on the bus as well. The state of the nation isn't doing very well. And finally, a couple of things. Massive thank you to Paul Joseph Watson for his video titled Manchester is a Shithole. featuring many. I think I've done a clip about this, which you might see in the same video here. But anyway, it's worth praising again. Paul spent a lot of time editing my videos to find the choicest clips. Crutchy, female crutchy, elbow man, Ironside. Scary man makes an appearance, harassing women in the video. So yeah, one may say, some might say, Manchester is a shithole. And let me just pause for one moment. There you go. My Paul Joseph Watson sidetrack did not derail the main one. I think the tide has turned now against these non-crime hate incidents, or the police turning up and handcuffing people for thought crime on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. The tide is turning. Reform, the party that is going to kick out Labour and the Conservatives at the next general election, is controlling many councils across England and Wales. The tide has turned, and that footage of seeing a 78, I think he was 78, elderly, former retired policeman, handcuffed, held for 9 hours with a Stasi East German mind control police, going through his bookshelf. Oh, that's a very Brexity one. Oh, look at this. Douglas Murray, Strange Death of the West. Oh, these are problematic books. These are problematic views. We are here the natural children of the Stasi, the Gestapo, the KGB. Let's throw another one in. Oh, yeah. What's alongside the Gestapo and the KGB? Oh, yeah. Modern British police. Anyway, this is Charlie Veitch from the northwest of England, deep in the countryside. And I'll see you, as always, on the next video. Stay strong. Don't let the bastards grind you down. And remember, unless massive deportations begin yesterday, today, right now is the best option. Civil war seems to be back on the cards, unfortunately. Thank you.